is Ginger from My Sister Scrapper. Today I want to share with you a quick tutorial on how I created the pages in my Graphic 45 Portrait of a Lady mini album. The mini album measures 5 3/4 by 7 1/2, and the spine is 2 1/2. So the way the pages are is we've got a large library pocket here in the front with a flap that flips up. We have a side pocket, and then you flip it over and you have a flap here with a magnetic closure. You don't have to put the magnet in, but I did. So I'm going to show you how I made these pages. And then before I show you the tutorial, just so you know, the photo mats are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Those go in the front pocket, and the ones on the side are 5 by 7. So there you have it. In this particular book, I made 6 pages. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I made 6 pages. Okay, so let's get started. It's pretty simple. You're going to need your scoreboard, your paper trimmer, your scissors, whatever paper you want to use. For this particular collection, I used ivory cardstock. You can use whatever you want to match your collection. But for the tutorial, I am going to show you on craft because it's easier to see, I think. So we have our bone folder, we have a ruler, scissors, and our fabulous score tape. So to make one page with the flap on the front and the flap on the side, you will need the following pieces of paper. One piece that measures 6 1/4 by 12. One piece that measures 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then for your front flap, you'll need a piece that measures 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. And for the back side flap, you'll need a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so let's make a page. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 6 1/4 by 12 inch piece, put it so the 6 1/4 inches is across the top, and we're going to score at it. So we have 1/2 inch on both sides. Now it's easier for me to score on this side opposed to this side, so I'm going to score at 5 3/4 all the way down, rotate it around, and score at 5 3/4 again, which again is just 1/2 inch on each side. I'm going to take it so the 12 inches is across the top, and I'm going to score at 7 1/4 inches. Okay, that's all the scoring we're going to do on that one. For the piece that measures 5 1/4 by 8 1/4, we're going to put it so the 8 1/4 is across the top. And again, I want a 1/2 inch score mark on both short ends, so I'm going to score at 7 3/4 and 7 3/4. Again, you can do half and flip it around half, but it's the same thing. So that's all the scoring on that one. For our front flap, we're going to put it in here so the 4 3/4 is across the top, and we're going to score at 4 1/4. And the 5 1/4 piece, put that in. It's a square, so it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to score at 4 3/4. Okay, so we're done with our scoreboard, and that's all the scoring. So for each page, these are the pieces that you're going to need. Now we're going to go ahead and fold on our score lines. These are our little flaps. We can fold them first. This piece is actually the back of our page, so we're going to fold those on our score lines. And then our page. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut first before we fold on our score lines. Again, you can use your paper trimmer, but for the sake of the video, I am going to use my scissors because, as you know, I don't cut straight. But we've got the large rectangle up here and the smaller rectangle here and the 2 1/2 inch score lines. We want to trim so we can remove this long 1/2 inch section, and we're going to stop where the score line is on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to flip around this way so it's easier for me to see. And we're going to just cut along that score line. And again, you can use your paper trimmer, which is what I should be doing. And stop right there. And we're going to cut that off. So we've just taken off that large 1/2 inch piece, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Again, you can use your paper trimmer if you want to get a nice even cut. Okay, so our page should now look like this. So what we're going to do next is we are going to fold on our score lines. We're going to fold these over. No, we're not going to fold those over. We're going to fold this way. We're going to flip it over and fold this pocket piece up. And then we're going to fold these in like this. Okay. So we're going to add our score tape to our tabs. So I'm going to put my score tape on here. And before I seal it up, I'm going to burnish my score tape. And then I'm going to take in my scissors and I'm going to angle these just so they don't get in the way of the score line right here. So just cut an angle right there. Just miter your corners a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to pull the tape backing off. We've got our little tabs folded in, and we're going to fold the bottom up like this. Okay, so now we've created a pocket right here, which is the front of our book. Right here. So before we add our flap, we're going to make the back of the page, because right now we need a pocket. So we're going to take this piece, that was the 5 1/4 by 8 1/4 with the 2 score lines. We're going to add our, oopsie, score tape to the tabs. Finish our score tape. Again, I like to miter my corners just so they don't hang over. And we're taking our page with our pocket, we're going to flip it over and we're going to attach this piece to the back. So the way I like to do it is turn it so it's horizontal facing me. I line up my bottom piece and I pull the tape backing off. Line it up so my edges are even. And stick it down. And then take the back off of this one. Fold it over. So there we have it. There's our page. We've got the pocket in the front. This is our binding edge. We're going to have a pocket here, and this is the back. So now we're going to add our flaps. The small one, the 4 1/4 by 4 3/4 that we've scored with the 1/2 inch is going to go right here along the top. So go ahead and put your score tape along the tab. Now you don't have to miter your corners because it is going to be covered with design paper, but you can if you want. We're going to put this right along. It's kind of hard to see here. That craft and the craft. So we're going to line this up with the top edge, center it left to right so you have equal space. And you can round your corners like I did in the sample of the book here. I rounded the 2 bottom corners of my flap right there. You can do that. It's easier to do it before you stick it down, but if you forget, you can do it after. So pull the tape backing off and we're going to line it up. And I got to stick something else in there so I can see the paper. Well, we'll just wing it. All right. If I turn it this way. Okay. So again, we're going to line up our folded edge with the straight edge of the top of the pocket. And there we go. Burnish it down. Okay. So that flips up, and then when you put your design paper here, it'll cover up your seam. Now you could stick it on the inside, but I like to put my flaps on the tops of my pages. But again, that's personal preference. You're more than, I mean, it will work just fine. Then you're going to flip it over, and then we're going to create the flap that's going to go on the back, which folds out this flap right here. We're going to add this to the back of our page. So we're going to take our piece that was 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and we folded it on the tab, and this is our binding edge because this is our page. We've turned the page. Our binding edge is now here. We're going to add it to this side. And again, you can round your corners if you want before you stick it down. You're going to add your score tape to the flap. Varnish your tape. And I'm going to turn it this way so it's easy. Make sure that you're adding your flap to the left side. Okay. And just center it top to bottom. That looks pretty good. I want to get my head in the camera because my husband will holler at me. There we go. So there's our flap. Cute, huh? So now you can add magnets like I did on mine. You're going to want to put your magnets on before you put your design paper. So the way to do that, which if you don't know, I'll show you really quick. Pretty simple. There's different magnets you can buy. You can buy the ones that already have the little sticky things on them. I don't have any of the small ones left. These are the large ones, which I personally don't care for the large magnets, but that's just my personal opinion. If you get your magnets that don't have any stickies, it's okay. Just use score tape. That's what I do. So you're going to take a set of magnets. If you're using the ones that have the stickers already on them, there'll be a plus and a minus. You're going to kiss them so the paper pieces are showing. Take the back off of one. It doesn't matter which plus or minus. It doesn't matter. Stick your magnet to your flap. They're still touching, and then you're going to go ahead and take the paper off of the other side. Flip it over. Press it down, and then open your flap back up. And this is why I don't like the big magnets. They don't. Let's burnish it really well. There we go. So now they're right in position. Okay, so then go ahead and you can put your design paper to cover your magnets. And before I put my design paper on, I do like to put some score tape on top of my magnets, just so they don't, not that they're going to move around, but it just helps. And then put your paper on. There you go. That's our page. That's how I created the pages in the Graphic 45 Portrait of a Lady. So we have our pocket here with our flap, and we turn our page over, and we have our flap right here, and the pocket is on the side. Okay, right here. So there you go, everybody. That's my page construction on how I made the pages in the Graphic 45 Portrait of a Lady. And the magnets that have the little stickies on them are from Basic Gray. I get them at either Joann.com or Amazon.com. These are the large. I prefer the small. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Bye.